G'day, and welcome back to Brian's backyard. Now, in case you haven't noticed, spring is almost with us, but there's still a few jobs to get done around the place, so let's do a whip around and have a look at what we've been getting up to lately. Before we check in with Paige to see how those potatoes are going that we planted a few weeks ago, let's have a quick check-in in the winter patch. And today, we're going to jump on to a top tip straight away. Broccolini, fresh off the plant. Beautiful and sweet. Nothing like what you buy in the supermarket. Definitely grow it and definitely eat it straight off the plant. It's an amazing snack. Another thing we should talk about is what happens when you plant something that doesn't really work out. This is the rapini. Now, it bolted straight away and went to flower. But you know what the great thing is? It's given the bees something to work with. And we love bees in this garden. That broccolini is fantastic. Anyway, let's go and see what Paige has got to show us by the potato beds.
Hi! Wow, I can't believe how big these potatoes are. I can't wait to see what they taste like for dinner.
So, those are those little kiflers that we stuck in a couple of weeks ago. And then over here, that little Pontiac is starting to come up as well. So hopefully the others do too. And as Paige said, we love eating potatoes in our house. Let's sort this kiwi out. And I'm going to get my old mate out here, the mulcher. How's that for some fresh mulch? Now I reckon we'll whack that on those potatoes we were having a look at a little earlier. Now that mulcher, it's pretty good, but geez, it can get a bit higgledy-piggledy when you stuff it full of stuff and things are flying off. But hey, it does the job pretty good. Popping up the back of the orchard now, and sharp eyes in last episode would have seen this. We've got a new bed. Anyway, let's jump in the time machine to a couple of weeks back and see how that came about. We've had passion fruits here in the garden for a couple of years now, but they do only last for a little while. So these new guys are going to give us some great crops next year and the year after. There you go. Now it's not quite done yet. We need to get some wire up to give them something to grow on. So I'm going to get stuck into that now. Well, that's done. Can't wait to see the passion fruits climbing up on that during spring. Let's go and do a bit of preventative work and knock out a couple of pests before they become a big problem. If you've got a nectarine or peach, you probably had trouble with leaf curl. Now, this little one here's already got its flowers on, so we're running a bit late to deal with it here. I've sprayed with copper a few times through winter, but I would have liked to have gotten one more in. Now, behind me, we've got a peach that's just about to burst into flower, so I'm gonna get some copper spray on that now. It's a fungicide and it'll knock out what causes the leaf curl. So when I say spray copper, I mean liquid copper. So I go 10 ml of that stuff into 2 litres of water. There you go. Looks great. And then whack the old sprayer on top. There we go. We'll give that a good spray. Now, I try and avoid sprays in the garden wherever I can, but this one I found absolutely necessary and really effective. There we go. I'm going to empty that off on the apricots because they usually have a bit of trouble with fungus as well. And then I'm going to go and deal with some mites on one of the orange trees. Have a look at this guy. See these little black marks? It's a bit of scale. Not a big issue since there's not much, and honestly it doesn't affect the fruit. But this year we've had some get really badly affected. Now, you can just scrape those off. As you can see, there's a perfectly fine orange underneath, but think it's time to get a spray on there and get this under control. This time round, we're going a bit of the old Eco oil, and that's going to be about 10 ml to the 2 litres. Okay, and the last pest to sort out is the woolly aphid. Sounds cute, but it's a nasty little sucker. Anyway, let's go sort that one out as well. All right, and here's the little blighters here. Well, meet your makers, you little dogs. A little bit of methylated spirit on a rag. And what we're going to do is just going to walk around this tree and wipe them off. And that'll mean we've got some great Fuji apples come next year. Here is some more of them. Here we go. Off you go, mate. And metho, not the most common garden tool, but very effective against these little pests. Now the last job for today is to take the winter cover off these guys so they can start to enjoy the spring that's just around the corner. There you go, avocado and wax jambiah. Not very frost tolerant, and they've lasted through the winter quite well and looking healthy, ready for spring. Well, we're done for another day. Spring's 3 weeks away, the garden's looking grand and I'm stoked. In a couple of weeks we'll be getting some seeds into trays, but until then, be good to yourself and be good to your garden. Thanks.